In Canada, we gather across this nation on the lands of Indigenous people, some of whom signed agreements, many of whom did not, and many still who did not agree to what happened after they signed. There has been hardship. There have been broken promises. The Crown, the Church, the settlers have all benefited from this relationship, and many Indigenous people have not. We stop now to honor their hope and conviction that these promises mattered. Much work needs to be done toward a better balance in these lands, that Indigenous people have been excluded from their sites of worship, places of hunting, places of gathering medicines. Our histories have not lived up to the sharing and caring ideals our ancestors hoped for when they signed their treaties and land agreements. May we find a way to undo past wrongs and seek new relationship in the lands we have enjoyed and passed down to our relations. To the remembered earth. Once in his life, a man ought to concentrate his mind upon the remembered earth, I believe. He ought to give himself to a particular landscape in his experience, to look at it from as many angles as he can, to wonder about it, to dwell upon it. He ought to imagine that he touches it with his hands at every season and listens to the sounds that are made upon it. He ought to imagine the creatures there and all the faintest motions of the wind. He ought to recollect the glare of noon and all the colors of the dawn and dusk. For we are all held by more than the force of gravity to the earth. It is the entity from which we are sprung, and that into which we are dissolved in time. The blood of the whole human race is invested in it. We are moored there, rooted as surely, as deeply, as are the ancient redwoods and bristlecones. And Scott Momaday, Earthkeeper.